This is Julie.
Hey, calendar, what's my morning like?
Julie's about to have a long day.
At 9 a.m., soccer carpool. 9:10, purchase birthday card. 9:05, dry cleaning.
Did you just go backwards?
I'm sorry, I can't fit that question into your schedule. 9:15, cry for a little bit.
For days that won't end, let Schwann's help. With Schwann's, you can get delicious meals that go from freezer to table in minutes, not hours. Ordered, delivered, done. That's homemade easy. Visit today at schwanns.com.
Right now, you can get both Sprint's unlimited plan and the all-new Samsung Galaxy S10 included for just $35 per month per line for 5 lines. All you need is approved credit and an 18-month lease. No trade-in required. Visit a Sprint store, sprint.com, or call 800-SPRINT-1.
Phone $15 a month after $22.50 a month. Credit apply within 2 bills. If canceled earlier, remain a balance due. Unlimited basic after $630.20. Pay $32 per month per line for 5 lines with auto pay. Data deprioritization during congestion. Speed maximums. Use rules and restrictions apply.
Hi there, this is Jim the Keys bartender coming to you for episode 148. 148.
Episode
I know the music was
148.
148. That music
Highest form of flattery.
No. Pukey Suzanne.
Well, Pukey Suzanne is what you're going to name the episode?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's
well,
much more.
there's a change order in place.
I think Pukey Suzanne is much more compelling.
Okay.
Because it's imitation. The highest form of flattery is imitation.
That's very true.
And I'm
Sorry,
not going to
you're going to imitate Pukey Suzanne?
I can.
Are you going to vomit?
Pukey Suzanne was a compatriot of Don Canary and Jeanette. The woman had her false teeth stolen by her boyfriend and held hostage. And I wrote 2 radio plays. And it's it happened. It happened at the thing. At this one of the times when her teeth were stolen, because I had several run-ins with, and Don Canary's a real person. That's his real name.
Yes.
There was a stripper. It seemed like a stripper giving a lap dance to a guy in a wheelchair on the street behind the woman, telling me her teeth were stolen. Outside, I'm trying to process. Imagine trying to process a lady telling you her teeth were stolen and held hostage for a sum of money. Turns out by her boyfriend. I didn't know that. And over her left shoulder, there's a woman look like she used to be a stripper maybe 30, 40 years ago. And then all the crack got a hold of it and something. And she decides to take her skills out on the street.
I heard stories about people stealing other people's prosthetics.
Yeah, like legs and stuff like that.
But
this guy did
teeth?
it for money. This is for drug money and stuff like that. Well, Suzanne was a roommate.
Who's going to buy these
Suzanne
teeth?
was a roommate. And supposedly, guy said, years ago, those women, and I thought he was going to say were hot, weren't as bad. That was the highest one. They weren't as bad as that. They were all right. That was it. I said, years ago? Yeah. He said 40 years ago. And they were young. They were in their 20s. I said, holy shit. They were only 7, 8 years older than me. 7, 8 years old. I'm not saying I'm not. I know I don't look like these guys over here. I'm pointing to 2 young men. But yes. I did not look like Don Canary and Jeanette. And I'm not saying that, come on, at least I'm not this, right? That's a hard basis. But Pukey Suzanne, she'd come in and order a martini and stuff like that. And this happened twice. And I gave her a martini, and she's sitting at the bar. And she says, I just love martinis. She's drinking them. And all of a sudden, I seen her head go down, and she got sick. And it's in the middle of the day. We don't have any, bussers and stuff. So I cleaned it up. And she goes, I don't know what's the matter. I must have the flu and all that stuff. And I said, okay, well, I'm not going to serve you anymore. So the next time she came in, same exact thing happened. And I said, this is months later. I said, this is not the flu. She goes, it must be the medication. And so what kind of medication is that? She goes, a medication where you're not supposed to drink with it. I said, what kind of medication you're not supposed to drink with? I mean, a lot of medication you're not supposed to drink with.
Right.
Well, no, it's medication to prevent drinking. It was put onto her by the courts so she wouldn't drink.
And she didn't even, oh, my God.
And she wanted another drink after that, and I told her no. And then she, you know what happened? Abby came in, and Abby drove her home. My wife came in to say hi, and she made her drive in. I said, did she puke in your car? because she puked every time. It was every time she was puking in the bar, not making it to the bathroom. And I was just cleaning it up, and I said, once puke once, fool me once, puke twice. Shame on me.
Yeah, wow.
See, if I serve you again, I'm never going to serve you again.
No.
You puke twice. Now, if you're smart enough to make it into the bathroom, you could probably make it like 6, 7 times. But puking in the bar, you think twice you're going to be able to do that? Pukey Suzanne.
Pukey Suzanne. Okay.
And then we all know what happened, Jeanette. She passed away, and then Don Canary came and cleaned out all remaining money and pills and went on a party after what. And he says, you don't know what it's like. He told me, sitting there crying with his beer, you don't know what it's like laying next to your girlfriend who's dead. And I go, what are you doing laying next to your girlfriend who's dead? Well, I thought she was sleeping really heavily. I know that's morbid. But this was going to happen anyway. When you're living with pills and drinking and stuff like that, that's all they were doing. That's what was going to, and she was living there. And he was like having a party with whatever medication was left over, and he finally got kicked out of the house and all this stuff. He was going through everything.
People are so weird.
Yeah, but that's Pukey Suzanne, and that's part of Key Largo.
So you know what I want to transition to for a second? I want to talk about birthdays.
Okay.
Because we've been talking about this as another topic, about how some birthdays are a big deal and others not so much. Right? Like your 18th birthday, your 21st birthday, big deal, right? 25th birthday.
Up until the time you're, what we did, breaking down, what big birthdays?
Big birthdays, right? So 21st birthday, you can
every
drink.
time after the 12.
20, well, 18th birthday, technically you're an adult, you can vote.
13, teenager.
Yep, you're a teenager. So then
15,
you
got 15, you're
15, you can get your
to 20,
driver's,
quarter,
halfway to 20, really, math. And Jim's
Three-quarter.
strong suit is math, if anybody hasn't.
I read from 10 to 15.
Okay.
You're a child before, and then you're a tween.
Right.
You're a tween from 10 to 12, and then 13, you're a teenager, and 19, you're not a teenager anymore. You turn 20, and then 20, 20 years, I can't drink. Oh, that's fucking stuff.
Right, okay,
21.
so then 21, obviously.
Yep.
Everybody has their crazy 21st, like my twins who are sitting here had their crazy 21st last year. And then you hit 25, and you can now actually rent a car without having to put down a cash deposit at a dollar car rental place, right?
That's arbitrary, isn't it?
And then what?
There's
then
plenty
what
of
you got?
people.
Then you got 30-30.
30,
then you
30,
got 40.
which is, for women, it's a big thing of lying about, right? This is my 10th, 30th birthday.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or
you're
they're
just
like,
saying, oh, you're making me do the math?
oh, or I'm
Okay,
turning
my
30 with 15
so
more
I
years
add
of
10 to your 30th
experience.
birthday. Why
Yeah.
can't you just say 40?
Yeah. So there's some, I didn't like 27. That irritated me, and 33 bothered me, but now I just don't care anymore. And I'm not a big deal about, celebrating my birthday. But
I'm 55, and it's holy shit. When you get up there and you go 55 years around the sun, around the fucking sun.
Right.
1,000 years ago, boy.
We have a
I'm
mutual
super old man.
acquaintance that celebrates every one of her birthdays over the top.
And they do it for a week?
I mean, constantly. It's crazy. So if you turned 27, we were all invited. 28, oh, it's a big party. 29, again. 30, that should have been her big one. And then when she turned 31, she sent this mass text message to all of us about what her colors would be and what we were all supposed
She's
to wear.
like a third world dictator.
And none
you know
of
what I mean?
us
Or El Chapo.
answered
El Chapo, every time you have a birthday, they got to give me a big fucking piñata. I want a disco ball, all the drinks.
So I get more joy out of my mother's birthdays because I get to rub it in that she's just old, right? And yesterday was my mother's 71st birthday.
I saw a picture. The picture you showed me,
The picture that I showed you was actually from Mother's Day.
How long ago?
6 years ago, 5. When I first moved here, I sent her a bunch of things for Mother's Day.
So she was 66.
She was, yeah. And
See,
now
I know math.
this woman, I have tortured her on her 50th birthday. We bought her a new hip. On her 60th, I threw a giant party. Right. Well, actually,
you bought her a new hip?
I bought her a new hip when she turned 50. When she turned 40, though, backing up, we rented a hot air balloon and stuck it in the backyard, and it lit up 2 neighborhoods of Minneapolis like it was daylight.
Wait.
Yes, this is my mom, so I like to
What
torture
do you mean,
her.
with a hot air balloon?
A hot air balloon that sticks in your yard, like those floaty, if you rent.
It lights up?
Yeah, it was like a big giant, it had a fan at the bottom. It would blow to keep it up, like a blow-up house.
Yeah?
Yeah, like a bounce house, but it was a big hot air
How
balloon.
high up was it?
Oh gosh, taller than the house was.
Really? That's
Absolutely.
great.
So you could just see that it looked like daylight everywhere. And of course, on the top of it, we had them put like custom signs that they Velcro on.
Yeah.
And it was like Gloria is over the hill and had a Grim Reaper on it. It was terrible. But every year I just enjoy torturing my mother on her birthday or any holiday for that matter. So the picture I sent you, which you'll probably post on there, is when I shopped online to her neighboring nursery. It was called Bachman's. And they advertised that it had a 14-inch tomato plant. And I thought, how cute was that? My mom loves tomato plants. So I figured it was going to be 14 inches tall, and she could sit it on her desk.
You should have known that when they were talking about a plant.
Right.
Because the plants, they don't have an exact, it's not an exact science to height.
This
the
is
14, I worked for a flower shop.
Right.
That when they talk about that, they're talking about the size of the pot.
Well, I had no idea, and I have a black thumb. My sister would have corrected me if I would have consulted her on it. So my specific instructions were to the delivery people were put it right in front of her door because I was so afraid that she was not going to see this little teeny foot tall,
When's her birthday?
Her birthday was yesterday.
Well, wait, isn't it dangerous? But wouldn't it the plant freeze?
Well, yes, you would think so, right? So that leads into the birthday stuff that I just sent her yesterday. Although when I sent her the tomato plant, of course, it was not 14 inches tall. The pot was 14 inches wide, and the plant was 5 feet tall, and my mother is 5 feet tall, and she could not move the plant to get into her house. And she ended up opening all the other stuff that was in her Amazon boxes that I sent her as well, which was a plant, because she's my mom.
Oh.
And then I sent her a fart whistle because my mom's obsessed with anything that has to do with farts or poops. She thinks it's the funniest thing in the world. So it's like a whoopee cushion, but it's like a little blower, and you stick it in your mouth.
She's like Benny Hill fan.
She's terrible.
Yeah,
I mean,
they love that.
But she's hilarious. So I also sent her a coffee mug that says, "I love how we don't have to say out loud that I'm your favorite child." So she sent me a selfie stuck outside of her front door because she couldn't get in because of the 5-foot tomato plant. Holding the fart whistle in her mouth with this mug, and she was like, "You are a little fucker. Your siblings are on their way over here."
Oh, and she can't get in her house.
I can't get in my house. And I
until they get there.
And of course, the mug that says I'm her favorite child. And I laughed at her. I said, they all know that I'm your favorite, so it's no big deal.
Do you really want to try to do that again if you're going to?
So.
Don't say it.
Yesterday.
You did?
I had a 6-foot tall palm tree sent to her house because she lives in Minneapolis, and it's been constantly snowing for like 11 days straight. So I sent her a palm tree that was much too big to fit through her door. And I put a note on it that just said, "These are the same palm trees I have in my yard, just in case you missed the warm weather." Ha, ha, ha. And I asked her, "Are you going to be home?" And she said, "Oh, I'll be home. So I get the email notification that it had been delivered. And I texted her. I said, "Mom, did you get your surprise?" And she goes, "I don't know. I'm at the movies." And I'm like, shit. She told me she was going to be there, and I sent a palm tree to the cold weather sitting in 4 feet of snow. Like, what the heck? So she tells me that her neighbor guy went and got the plant.
He brought the plant over to
his house until she got home.
He carried a 6-foot palm tree over
He did. And I don't know how old this guy is. I mean, if I had to guess, I'd say 84, 94.
Holy shit.
So
They're tough up there.
He texts my mom or calls her, I don't know, while she's at the movie theater, and lets her know that he just got the pot plant off of her step because he thought that her horrible daughter, her favorite child, sent her a pot plant.
Oh, this guy thought that's a pot plant?
Well, it was wrapped in plastic, so he couldn't really tell what it was. He could see the leaves, but he couldn't tell. So he's laughing hysterically, thinking that I sent my mother a pot plant.
It's illegal in Minnesota?
Even though I don't think so.
Do you have medical marijuana?
Medical in there? Okay, my children say yes. I doubt it. But on the outside of it, it's called a royal palm potted. So he sees potted, and he, of course, tells my mom that I sent this pot plant.
Oh, you should send her next. You know what you should send to his house? Potted meat. That would fucking, here we go, potted meat, and goes, "Oh, your daughter's sending me potted meat."
So I sent you another selfie of
or
Mom.
Or pot pie.
Because now.
Send him pot pie.
Pot pie. I could send him pot pie. He's going to think there's pot in it. She got it into her entryway, and it hit the ceiling, but it was too big. She couldn't move it into her living room. So she's laughing at me like, "I can't believe you sent me this 7-foot tall pot plant or whatever." And I sent her another mug because I always do that. And the mug, of course, is a coffee mug, and it says, "This will make me poop."
Oh.
Because she likes anything that has to do with farts and poop.
It's funny that I like that. I like that idea. And when it comes to when you brought that up to me, started mentioning it to me, Abby told me, it's funny you have this thing because she's from Poland.
Yes.
Everyone knows that there's a stereotype where years ago, they don't do it as much anymore. Polish jokes. When I was a kid, it was all Polish jokes.
Yeah, there was a lot of them.
Not anymore because a lot people realized, because it was communist Poland and stuff like that, you didn't get interact with people straight from Poland and stuff like that. People always made fun of the last group that emigrated and stuff, and they were one of the later ones.
Mm-hmm.
They said in Poland, though, their stereotype of an American is someone that just farts all the time. And they said in Poland, that's not a big deal over there. And I said, are you fucking kidding me with all the beets, cabbage, and shit you eat? You got it, and beer and vodka? You got to be farting up a storm over there. You're just like, oh, well, we don't fart as much as Americans. Well, Americans maybe do with the greasy foods and stuff like that. Yeah. But we have to be at a parity with that. And the Chinese, because they eat cabbage. The Irish, holy shit.
That's a lot of cabbage.
The beer.
I have a fart app on my phone where, like, if you fart and then you want to find out.
But Abby's actually offended, It sounds like a lot of vagina. Remember a lot of vagina?
A lot of vagina. Oh,
did you fart before me? Did you fart before me? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know it was your turn, baby.
How dare you break wind before me?
Oh, break wind. Okay. Before me. When you talked about the hot air balloon or the balloon.
Yes, the balloon.
I was at a party, and it was near the 4th of July. It was they had a bunch of tents and stuff like that, and they had these Chinese lanterns that were going to light it. It was on a lake, and they were all fucking stoned. And then one guy was on mushrooms, and they had, like, people's tents and stuff. And they were all grouped up. It was someone's backyard along the Chamonix Creek. It's right outside Philadelphia. It was a pretty cool thing. You can actually go do a little tubing there when the water was high and all that stuff, and hang out in the water. And at night, what happened is one of the people, when they started lighting they didn't check to see. There was a whole bunch of things. They didn't tell people exactly how they worked. It was way before people knew how to use them. There's a little square piece of burnable material that's hanging at the bottom of the paper balloon, and you'd light it, and the emissions from the burning would fill the lantern, and it would float, right? You've seen them go up? You ever seen those?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, someone had it,
those
and
things are cool.
They didn't quite get buoyant, and I guess there was a downdraft, and it pushed it into a tent, and it collapsed the top of it, and the tent caught on fire. And 4 tents burn up, and I was sleeping back. You're just watching it, and you hear people screaming and stuff like that, and we thought someone was inside one of them. And that's like fucking plastic. And we're thinking it's like there. It turned out there were people screaming on the other side.
Yeah.
Because their shit was inside.
Yeah, because they were mad.
And this was prior to the widespread use of cell phones and stuff like that. You had those. One of the guys, the young guy, said he had a Zach Morris cell phone. I didn't know what that was.
A Zach
but
Morris?
Zach Morris was a character in a show called Saved by the Bell.
Oh, yeah.
And that cell phone looked like a World War II fucking radio.
Like the big giant, yeah, the ones that was like it doubled as a weapon as well as a.
And go like, oh, yeah, I want you to drop ordnance on my position and shit like that. So that. I love the hijinks of your mom and stuff like that.
I love
I
to
send
pick
my
on
dad
her.
Omaha steaks and stuff like that.
You know how cool though.
Mom's a pajamagram or something like that.
You know what the logo is for like Straight Outta Compton, right? Everybody knows what that looks like. The block letters, the black and the white.
Yeah.
So I got her a shirt 2 years ago that said Straight Outta 1948, and she didn't really know that it was from Straight Outta Compton, and she wore that thing all over the place, and she got so many compliments on this shirt because, of course, everybody looks at it, they're like, "That's Straight Outta Compton," but nope, Straight Outta 1948.
With the rough edges on the bottom.
It was just hilarious. She wore the shirt, and she was telling me, she calls me Maynard because I'm her nerd. So she's like, "Maynard, everybody loves my shirt. This thing is great. I love my shirt."
Why May?
Maynard. Because I'm a nerd. I'm the nerd.
What's the May part?
It's just a way to call me something other than a
Maynard.
nerd, I guess.
Thought you
Maynard.
were born in May.
No, I'm March. But yes, I would. Otherwise, I would be March nerd. I don't know if that works out so well.
Maynard.
But Maynard,
works.
she calls me Maynard, and so does my brother.
Oh,
Everybody They all do.
While we're on this, after that, we were talking on a previous episode about curved penises.
Yeah,
and stuff
we
like
were. You know, it's funny how we talk about my mother and then we start going into curved penises. Hi, Mom, by the way. Happy belated birthday.
Yeah, and working in a bar, you kind of you can look at people and say, are these people are still fucking? They're not fucking. They haven't fucked in a long time.
You can see that in people when
I had this thing. I look at them and say like that. They haven't seen each other's private parts and shit like that. So the guy from Tampa,
Damon's over here nodding and agreeing.
There's what was the name of the football player in the new Genix commercial? The Big Hurt. The Big Hurt. Well, he was a running back. He's a beefy African-American man. He's a very affable, friendly.
Oh, this is the guy that does the
Nugenix commercial.
Yeah, the testosterone supplements,
yeah.
right?
And first he's like in a gym and guys watch him work out and stuff like that. Or a woman is watching him and go, boy, you seem to have a lot of vigor. Well, I used to be tired and all that stuff, but I found testosterone replacement, Nugenix. It helps me with my strength, endurance, building muscle, and it does help. And the ladies like it too. Like that.
And she's like
or
smiling.
something like that. I'm paraphrasing, I know that. But then they do an episode where he's giving a news conference. And that would be really inappropriate if you think about it. You're standing there doing it is. That's what it is. It's really inappropriate because he's looking at it and he says, listen, it does the same thing, and there's the reporters writing it down, and the ladies like it too, and they're going, oh, yes. You know, they're getting all wet, you know. Yeah, look at you. You're big and strong, you know. I mean, I'd say it's like a beginning of a porno or something like that going in. You want to see? You want to see what happens? Yeah, let me show you. Let me show you. I can squeeze one out right now. Come up here, young lady.
Come here.
Yeah, that's.
Hold on to this.
The last episode was about misogyny, and I guess that maybe doesn't help me any. But it doesn't. It does. It does seem to be a lot. It used to be the Wood, Mr. Ed Wood, whatever the commercial when the Viagra first came out. That was a big deal. And now there's other. There's two magicians, and he has his wand. He pulls his wand out, and it goes, it drops down like a fucking pasta after you had it 10 minutes in there. It just goes, boom.
Who's that?
Says, and the guy comes up, another musician comes up with a hat and cape, an older guy, goes, your wand not working correctly? He goes, try this. Don't worry, it happens a lot when you've been.
It happens to everyone.
It happens to everyone. Like that. And go, you know, I'm going to be candid right now.
Okay.
It happened when I was young.
After, just like, well, there was probably
it happened when I was
outside
young.
circumstances.
And people don't understand. It happened when I was young. When you get older, you know, biologically, that's what happens. It happens when you drink a lot.
I was just going to say, was it whiskey dick?
One time. Oh, God, I landed well, this
Sorry.
is, I'm going to reaffirm Pat McGee and stuff and get in trouble with Abby. I was on it. There was this, when I used to work, between the military and government service, I worked at a circuit board company, was a salesman, and there was this great, I used to get my hair cut across the street. There was hot girls used to run this hair salon. I'd go in and get my hair cut in there and talk to them, and they were real fawning over me, nice. And they said, oh, I think you'd like my friend, Megan. She works at this photography studio, and I ended up taking her out on a great date. It was Christmas time. We went to a place called the Brick Hotel in Newtown, Pennsylvania, where they filmed the movie, the Mel Gibson movie, Signs.
Oh, creepy.
Signs. They filmed it in there. It was like that. They filmed it in there. It was Newtown, Pennsylvania, and it's beautiful downtown Main Street area, and they had this brick hotel. And in the bar area, they had a jazz trio. I actually paid the jazz trio to play the Peanuts Christmas song. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun. We're having a good time having drinks. And then we go in and I eat venison or pheasant or whatever stuff. And a great dinner. And I actually
couldn't
drank too much.
Wow.
And that, holy crap, that was sad. Well, no, it wasn't like that.
It was
just never. That's when it was it's like a car not starting. And it didn't happen. And I go, fuck, man. I knew it was over. I'm going to sleep and get up and go and leave. Last date.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And gave me the whole opportunity. Had a whole opportunity there. And she wasn't going to hear it again. I said, well, a repeat performance, you may have been. Nah, she probably wouldn't have been pleasantly. I was going to say, you may have been pleasantly surprised. And I go, maybe not. Maybe not. I realize that. But that's what I thought about the eugenics thing and stuff. What the hell? With all these, like, AIDS, a resurgence of these things we were supposed to have vaccines for. I mean, mumps is coming back, measles and stuff like everything we can fight, cancer, all these things that medical science can address. Matter of fact, I think they're going to actually come up with they'll probably have a cure for AIDS by 2030, within 10 years. And they can manage it right now.
With the cocktail that they have now.
I know, but they actually have, I mean, forget about the cocktail. Talk about curing it and bring it down to where it's virtually not in. That's great. But they have all this, and this is a guy saying it, this is my non-misogyny, all the freaking boner pills.
Right.
So 70, 80-year-old guys can get hard-ons.
And which is
and you
weird
can tell why up in
still
and
like
we
bother
did have
children.
I'm not going to insult the people up at the Villages because they downloaded a whole crap load of episodes up there. They have a lot of STDs up there.
I have a weird question, though. Like, okay,
that?
well, HPV is a big thing, especially in the older community, which is causing cancer like crazy in men.
Yeah. Yes.
Actually. But, so with the older men, if your stuff doesn't work anymore, maybe it shouldn't. Like, women's stuff expires, then it doesn't work anymore, and then therefore you can't reproduce any longer.
Well, part of it is your lifestyle.
All right, but I mean, like
lifestyle,
an 85-year-old guy.
Because I know me. When I'm fit, more things.
Or expel, right?
I don't know how to say that.
Right. Well,
I don't know.
But if you were to say, okay, an 85-year-old guy that has to take pills to get his business up, okay, how strong are those? How strong are those things actually swimming?
No, but what if? But if there comes a cure for aging, do we say we don't address it?
A cure for aging?
Yeah.
But
let's say they stop what people call it entropy. It's a breakdown. The cells stop working. You stop replacing the new cells and things like that. That's where you have the accumulation of damage. That's what aging is, right? I mean, if I explain correctly, it's the accumulation of damage that your body's not. When you're growing, you're fine.
The recovery.
I don't know when it happens. At 25, 30, it's
right.
It's a long, slow decline, and
it's the ability for your cells to reproduce themselves, right?
And probably evolutionary makes sense because you don't want everyone to live like one of those big ass turtles, 250 years. Imagine getting married when you're 30 years old, and we just the day when you get married and 30 years old, they came up on the news and said, we can get every human being to live at least 250 years ago. Fuck you, I'm getting divorced. No one. Marriage will be dead. Marriage will be dead once a bulk of the population lives past 100. Marriage will be gone. Because marriage started when people, if you think about it, people got married in their teens or 20s, and otherwise they were called spinsters or confirmed bachelors.
Yep.
A lot, 30 to 40% of women died during childbirth.
Yep.
And a lot of people died 40 to 50 from just innocuous things. And then every so often you had like a Benjamin Franklin or someone that lived to their 80 and things like that, and they're still fucking around like Benjamin Franklin.
Right, because what is the average?
They didn't have an ED medication, but supposedly Benjamin Franklin was doing all sorts of shit in France when he was supposedly on a mission to secure funding for the American Revolution. He's fucking around with these old socialites.
Paint me like one of your French girls.
Or something like that. I mean, he was like Rodney Dangerfield. I imagine I can. Rodney Dangerfield.
He fathered children into his 70s.
Yeah. Rodney Dangerfield in old school with those. I think that was Benjamin Franklin taking baths. taking baths with women and stuff like that while his wife's home and stuff
Right,
like that.
but it's like,
I mean, and you give birth to 12 kids because 8 of them would die.
Yeah, the
I
mortality
mean, people used
rate.
to die.
But did you
that's
know
a downer.
that the mortality rate is still the worst in the U.S. for newborns?
Worst compared to what? It's not as high. I know we're in the 20s. We're not the worst. No. There's 100 and there's over 200.
Well, of course, I
something
mean, not
countries. We're
compared
the
to
worst.
maybe
Malawi
not compared
and
to
all that stuff.
third
But
world
out
countries,
of
but
some of the first world countries, we're
Yeah.
way down in the list. We're way down. You're right. You're right.
I'm white.
I mean,
I'm
for
half white, but
supposedly
thank you.
a culture that values the people that say they value unborn.
Yeah.
They don't really value the born.
No.
If they did, they'd do something about it, right?
Yeah.
Feed your kids.
Yeah.
Feed
How
our
about,
kids.
how about discipline
Feed the
them?
5-year-olds. No, but I mean, even their kids, when they show up at school, why can't you give them a meal? If they don't get fed at home, I'm gladly pay for that. I gladly pay for that. I gladly pay for kids so they have warm clothes, they have food, and they have health care. I am glad. Why is that ever a battle? How is that a battle in the United States when a child isn't properly nourished?
Whatever happened to it takes a village? You know?
Well, I know, but you can't. Some villages aren't capable of doing that.
Right, but we are.
I mean, that's why
what you're
that's
saying.
why we took all our states and we formed a union. I'm not talking about this far. These people worry about these progressive ideas that I have sometimes, or whatever. What's her name has and stuff like that. Just let's take care of all the kids, everyone that's born, before you start worrying about the unborn. Get all those kids and take care of them. Show me you can take care of it. It's like a person I want to get married. Well, why don't you fucking get a house plant first? See if you can take care of a house plant. Then maybe we'll let you have a gerbil.
Right.
Or a hamster. You take care of the hamster? Let's see if you can nurture a partner, and then a child. Nurture a child. You did.
I nurtured 3
Look
of
how
them.
healthy these guys are.
I know.
Except
They're
for
big.
me smoking a cigarette.
They're
right
big
now.
tough guys.
Yeah. What? Oh, what? Someone? They don't even know who you are right now. So.
Except for Grandma, who's
Yeah.
probably listening right now.
Oh no. Okay.
So
I didn't say
you
that.
should-
He gave it up to him.
you should say hi to Grandma.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Grandma.
I Maple Leaf Canada.
He Maple Leaf Canada.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
his
what
girlfriend
I
lives in
love.
Canada.
I know.
What's
her name?
Her name is Sasha.
Oh, she's French Canadian.
She is not.
Russian.
She is Yugoslavian and.
Wait. Well.
No, I'm sorry. Wait.
Not
no, what is
Yugoslavian.
she?
She's
No,
Croat.
She's not Yugoslavian. She's
Croat.
No, she is.
Serbian?
Well, her biological father is
Bosnian?
English, and her mother is. I'm not Yugoslav. Portuguese.
How the hell you get Yugoslavian out of
I don't know.
Portuguese?
You really? Don't give me crap. You were talking. You were talking
I know,
about
I had a problem
going to
saying Jenna-
Islamabad.
What?
I'm sorry, referring back to the previous episode.
Well, that was Islamabad thing was my mom. I told her it was Isla Morada,
Yeah,
and I intentionally told people
were-
it was.
You were talking about
Islamorada.
Samoas and Mongolians, so this is my one free one.
There were Mongolians, but the wedding that the Mongolians were happy. Every so often, you have it's weird in the wedding community that we used to do quinceaneros and
Quinceaneras.
or whatever they call
Yeah,
it.
when the girls
Quinceanero.
turn 15.
Quinceanero is for a guy.
Quinceanera. Well, they don't do that.
Isn't it?
No, they do quinceaneras. Okay,
Well, they
so
had the Filipinos had really big ones too. I think it was I don't know if it was 15 or 16 for the Filipinos, and he used to get dressed up. It was like it was a prom communion thing rolled into one, and he used to have a big thing. It was a Catholic bar mitzvah, bar mitzvah, and it was mainly the girls, I guess. It was their coming out.
yes.
Thing. And
Well, that's like
beautiful young girls, very polite. They were very nice.
They're coming out. That means that they're going out into the courting world so that men can chase them for their dowries.
I think they were somewhat. No, I know. I think they were somewhat. It was a big. Compared to the if you think more antiquity, it was moving towards it was progress forward because it was showing that she wasn't a child; she became a woman.
Yes. Therefore, she's
and,
ready to
and
birth their children.
They didn't have arranged marriages, are the death knell, the choice. Arranged marriage and stuff. We talked about that on a previous one, having an arranged marriage. But then again, some people are really. You see, we've met a lot of people that didn't have arranged marriage and they hate each other.
It was for arranged marriages were for political and parliament, right? It was let's marry this family into this family.
Economic. You do it in India. They had this thing to give it. I mean, they do this in a lot of cultures, a dowry. And if they felt in India, if they felt that the bride was not sent with an adequate dowry, in some villages, they would kill the bride.
That's just terrible.
It's a barbaric.
That's terrible.
It's part of it. It says it. It's not India. It's not India itself. And I apologize to our listeners, Mumbai, Japan, Ireland. We have a big resurgence in Ireland. Boston. And
maybe
you know
it's
what?
just because
I think
my last name is Kella.
And aren't you part Indian?
I am not Indian. No, I'm.
Jeez, I'm just playing to it. You can lie.
Okay. Oh yes, I could be
from the subcontinent.
I could
be. You speak a little. You're from Hindu Kush.
Yes.
Okay. No, we just. I think in my genealogical tree, I may be part Asian Indian.
Really? Now that I look at you a little closer, I can see it.
I can look at. I mean, there's the Caucasus, and where the Caucasians come from, by the Caucasus.
That's true. Okay, so because you were talking about weddings,
yeah,
and because you're a bartender, this is the meme little thing that I sent you when you were on your way over, and it's cute because it says, at a wedding party, somebody recently yelled, "All married people, please stand next to the one person that has made your life worth living." And the bartender was almost crushed to death.
Oh, yep. I know. I heard that one before. No, you hear that all the time. It gets stuff like guys give a toast, and they go, "I want to toast my wife for 25 years of wedded bliss." And the wife smacks him and goes, "We've been married 37 years."
He was like, "Wow."
It happens like that. I mean, that's trite. You know, when you always say your wife's a pain in the ass and stuff like that. The best part of my life is my family. Just recently, I'm going to go. This is not a exciting story. It's not a funny story, but it's a real story.
Okay, you tell while I get another beer.
You get another. Oh, could you grab?
I will.
You know what?
Would you like an IPA instead of that?
No. You know what? I'll take a regular beer.
You want a Bud Light?
Anything? Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, thank you.
2 Bud Lights?
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you. I was at work, and it was the middle of happy hour, and this is a real moment. I get a phone call. Abby's crying. And, oh, no, I didn't know she's crying. I pick up the phone. I see it's Abby. And thank you very much. Abby's crying, and I was ready to say, "I can't talk to you right now. I'll call you right back." And I hear she's crying. "What's up?" And I stand up, and I stop. And all my regulars, couple seasonals, they saw me speaking on the phone. They saw my demeanor change.
Right.
And said, "This guy was in an accident. A car accident." This is.
I heard about this.
Yes. This was
2 days ago, right? 2 days.
This was yesterday.
Yesterday, okay.
Yesterday. My daughter's coming home from basketball practice. One of the fathers that he's really good at coaching basketball.
Mm-hmm.
He was taking, and they got in an accident, and we didn't know, but she got a call from Sky, and she heard about it, and she's crying, and she needed to get there, and she says, "I'm on my way. I'll call you back," and I'm ready to leave. And I told one of the girls I work with, right, and I said, "My daughter was in a car accident, but she's not. You know, they know she's 12 years old. She knows she's not driving. So you can put 2 and 2 together." So I said, "But I'm going to wait for a phone call, so I may have to leave right away. Could you pass it along?" But she didn't hear that part. I seen him over there in the corner. I'm waiting on the phone. I can't. Other people yelling for drinks. I'm getting drinks. I'm like working on what we call auto.
Like autopilot.
Autopilot.
Right.
Just getting in them. That's like I say, "I'm sorry, I can't talk right now," and stuff like that. My mind's someplace else.
Of course.
So I'm waiting. So finally, I go, "Kathy, come here, Kathy." And Kathy comes over and says, "Sky," and she goes, "Oh my God!" it turned out, I guess my coworker thought that I was going to wait for it, but she doesn't tell anybody. This happens. You figure,
yeah.
She doesn't tell anybody. She's over there silent talking, having a regular. She just drops it from her mind that he said it. And I go, come on, you're a parent. Come on, just think that way. When someone tells you something like, hey, keep an eye on Jim. His daughter was just in the car. And he doesn't know what's going on. Right? That's what I was the natural thing for me. Absolutely. And I was there. Finally, I called Abby, and Abby's there. Abby's not crying, but Sky's crying.
No.
Because she'd never been in an accident before.
Scared.
And it was both the cars were total.
Oh.
The curtains, she was in a Tesla, and all the side curtains came down, the bags. And it turns out she's a little sore. Could be, we don't know what's going on or anything like that. But she's crying. I said, bring her here. I got to see her, It doesn't matter because I would leave and stuff. But I realized at the time, I'm thinking, well, should I have just left? And both went and left my thing, and they're saying this, and I didn't know. I should have just left right then. But there would have been 2 cars going and stuff like that, and then I don't know. And then they finally came, but the biggest relief was when I seen her come in. She's crying, and she's still crying, and I give her a hug and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Today she's not crying. She played basketball. There was a big blowout.
Yep.
Which there was another thing about the thing, but I'll tell you, there's nothing like a reminder of how you feel about someone when you hear something that has happened.
Of course.
And it happened to me when years ago when I wasn't full-time in their lives. I was just with Abby.
Right.
And Abby was separated on her way to being divorced from her husband.
Yep.
When Sky broke her arm when she was out with her father. And I couldn't go there because I'd known Sky for 2 years when that happened. She was 4 years old. And I'm thinking, what the hell? I couldn't imagine. Nowadays, I couldn't imagine I couldn't be there. When is she sick? I tell when her father passed away, I called the one time I took off from work. Do the thing I took off from work. I said I gotta be with Sky and Abby because Guy's father passed away.
Right.
And and then it turned out like someone's on.
Oh, it's just my husband putting. He's redoing.
He's a hard worker, man.
Yes.
He is. It makes me feel as if I want to sit down more. I am tired. Folks, there was.
This is supposed to be a shed, but it looks more like a guest house.
It does look like a guest house.
I think he's overdoing it a little bit, but
I think your son's doing it because he thinks he's going to put like a bunk in there or something like that.
No, they're moving. They're moving.
I
back
know they're
to
going up north.
Minneapolis.
We're going to miss them.
Yeah.
I know you're going to miss them.
Ugh.
Yeah.
That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah. Well, it's always been. Hey, you know what? Doesn't hurt my family. I moved 1,400 miles away from the closest one.
I live 1,800 miles away from my mom and my sister and my brother. But the little guys, the twins, it'll be tough with them gone.
Yeah.
So my older son is a little bit more. Yeah. He's a little less mommy needy, but these two are. I need a haircut. No, how do I pay my car payment? There's a lot. Mom, help me do my taxes. So.
Well, listen, we're getting we're in the back end.
We are.
We're in the ass end of this episode.
We are in the ass.
We took it.
We did. We took it in the ass.
And
I really hope that Sky is feeling better.
Oh, she played basketball today.
I know, but still, it's a little emotional. She's just a sweet little
you
gal.
know what I mean? That's the thing
Very
about kids.
nice
if they don't
kid.
have to live, some kids live in traumatic experiences day to day.
Yeah.
Sky, as long as you have relief, when her father passed away, we took her to a counselor to deal with it. And people think, well, why would you do that? And I said, you know what? When you lose a parent when you're young that you're really close with, and she had a great father. He loved her. She was the number one thing in his life.
How old was she when he passed?
She was 7.
No.
Yeah, and that was old enough.
Yeah.
Younger would have been. She remembers and loves that, and he was a wonderful man. Now we didn't obviously get along,
right?
For things, but I don't view that as a character flaw. I just view it as a thing.
He
just
was
one of the things that would be
threatened by the fact that you were there. I'm
sure.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm friends with his best friend.
I will compliment you though on this
What?
because every time that when Sky's on vacation or she doesn't have school for a few days, whatever, and she rides her bike up to see you and go have lunch with you, and she always sits right by me because she's comfortable with me. But I think that is just cute because she could be a lazy 12-year-old and lay around all day long, but she doesn't. She goes and steals her mom's bike because it's easier to get to, and then she drives.
Yeah,
she rides her bike.
She has a better bike.
Yeah, but she takes her mom's bike. But
all of us.
There's a thing about kids; they like to take their mom's stuff, right? Yeah, that's one. I'm staring at the one who stole my car.
Oh, the car? Okay. Hey, it's better than
it's
better than your underwear.
Right? That's very true. Very true.
Right?
But I think that Sky
not that it wouldn't suck.
You
know what? If someo's comfortable with that, that's fine.
Whatever you're into,
Yeah.
we're supportive.
Speaking, I'm talking about my friend Pat McGeehan. He likes that too.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well,
I'm
Pat,
just kidding.
I'm
just
Pat,
joking, Heather. I want to say hi to Heather.
Hi, Heather.
Hi, Heather. That's Pat's girlfriend. She's very supportive of the show.
Oh, she is.
And they're. Finish your thought. I apologize for
that. I was just saying that I was complimenting you because I really think that Sky is a well-adjusted young lady, and it would be hard for a little girl to lose her dad at 7, but at least she has you.
Do you know what?
And she has you.
It's not their. They're not in my life. I am in their life, and it works for me. And obviously, look, I'm doing things that I didn't do before. And part of it's the support of my, of Abby and Sky.
Yeah.
And
kudos.
There's things that some people wouldn't put up with.
But you know what? You're there because you want to be, not because
I love being there.
Not because you have to be.
It's the best. And I have friends. This is why we have the relationships we have, and things like that. I want to thank our listeners around the world. Obviously, we're heavy in the Keys. And Miami now. And Fort Lauderdale, Key West, we're getting listeners.
And thank you to Heather for understanding the underwear comment.
Yeah. I don't think Pat could fit in your underwear.
Maybe not.
Pat is not a huge man, but he's a man. And Heather is a very fit, attractive woman. I didn't get to meet her personally. I've seen her in pictures. She's a beautiful woman. But Pat comes from a family of handsome people. Heather's not related to Pat, but they're together. I know they're not from Appalachia, and we don't know. Not that Appalachia. What do you mean?
Not that there's anything wrong.
I have family members from that area.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, there isn't. You know what? Second cousins. That's not. There's no proof that even cousins. It says the high potential of genetic abnormalities is the brothers and sisters. I'm just covering my ass on those things.
You gotta read all the history of the royals, and then
and Heather did mention that Pat wanted to do a show, and with us, and I'm thinking either Saturday day or Saturday night after my shift on a Saturday night.
That would be cool. We could Skype him in.
Oh, we could go, and we could do it maybe. We could do it from the back of the porch. Maybe if I get cut early, we could do a prompt one. I'll give him a call up, or I'll probably have to preset it for him. But I think they mentioned early. But Saturday you're on.
I close at 5 on Saturdays as long as
5?
I don't get stuck there.
Okay. Well, if we do it during the day, it would just be me and them. If it's afterwards, I'd ask you to come on for that. I think the late night one with you guys all liquored up would probably be the best one.
I think it would be funny.
Yeah.
Or he could just take a quick flight on down and enjoy some more.
Well, they
weather.
were here last year. They were all down here, and we had a good old time. I'm amazed by people's recollection of what they think I am. People come in and go, "Oh, you're famous, aren't you?" I said, "Famous? Famous because a couple hundred people know me?" You don't understand how fame works in the United States. There's 330 million of us.
Yeah.
And if you're known by 1 millionth of them, that doesn't make you.
It does. It makes it a little closer to home when you live on a small island. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't go to Publix. It's difficult to go do things without running into someone that knows me, has met me.
I try to do a quick one through.
Or my husband, or Damon.
You got to choose a basket or a cart, right?
Yeah.
Because you got to go in and out. I'm not acting like a raid on Entebbe. with the Israeli commandos coming in and coming. I'm going in. I'm going to grab a bottle of wine, some cheese, and some tampons. You know, tampons are always the thing they wear. Well, it's going to go when you're going out. You get slightly emasculating, so you got to get those tampons in there. You're going out. Like I'm going to go out and I'm meeting girls at the supermarket.
I mean, go get some tampons.
Who knows, though? You never know. Sports size? What is it? You know? I don't know. Well, listen, we almost did 2 50-minute episodes.
Yeah,
Once
right?
again, I want to reiterate. Thank the listeners from all around the world. Katsushika, Japan, Germany, Bremen, from Dublin, Ireland, from Belfast, London, England, out in, I think, York, England, Sweden. I think it's my buddy Steve. He's a comedian and a teacher.
Oh, fabulous.
I think he's primarily.
Those two
I don't know
things
what he
go
does.
along
Those orders
hilariously
there.
together.
I have relatives in Poland. Primarily, most of our listeners are in the United States, and 40% in Florida, and then we have around the United States. Starting to get Boston. We want to hit New York City up.
We gotta figure
New
out
York
how to
City.
do
We got to
New
get
York.
maybe if we get someone. If you know someone in Brooklyn, we'll do a little Brooklyn.
We could do some Brooklyn.
Yeah, I think of the Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
That you know that song, Last
Stop.
Till Brooklyn. That was a cool song. I thought it was.
I liked it.
It's the coolest a white guy could get
Right.
with the rapping. Once again, I want to thank Jenna Kelly. Say goodbye, Jenna.
Ooh, pronounced it right.
I said it right. Couple beers.
Yep.
I got silver tongue right there. I could pronounce them. When I was a maitre d', I could do the Polynesian.
Polynesian and
yeah,
Mongolian.
They were from Guam.
Oh, look at that.
Guam.
We went from
They're
Polynesian.
No, that's Guam is Polynesia. Yes, it's in the Pacific. You don't know Guam, where Guam is?
Yes.
That's all Polynesia.
Okay.
What do you think it is?
I'm just laughing at
Guamese?
you
You're going to
because
say
I thought-
Guamese?
Because
You're gonna
I
say
thought you were
Guamese?
going to no. I thought you were going to go back
No,
into the
no. A
Mongolians
reason why
again.
because in Guam, Guam is an American protectorate administered, and a lot of them enter the government service. They work for the Navy and they work for the government, and they come to the United States. A lot of them. And I pronounced, and there's their traditional dance is the Tawalunga.
The warrior
Tawalunga.
dance, right?
No, you're thinking of Maori one or stuff like that.
Am I?
No, this was some kind of romantic and stuff like that. Oh no, it was a warrior dance.
Yes.
Holy shit! Yeah, when they started doing the
when they
spread
do
line.
the stomp and they scream, they're
Are you sure I'm thinking Maori, New Zealand and stuff like that?
Well, that was.
I don't know. I think they did it. You saw Invictus.
Yes.
That Matt Damon movie.
Right.
They were New Zealand. You got a Maori. God. That was good. I like that. That's the kind of shit I do sometimes. Hey, isn't it that? No, Chinese, not Japanese. You asshole. You're culturally insensitive.
Oh my gosh!
You white devil.
If you're gonna do the warrior dance or you're from Guam, please give us a positive review.
Oh, no, wait.
on
We don't
iTunes.
have any listeners in Guam yet.
We might.
You know what? Maybe I will direct the whole thing from Guam. I would have to. I'm going to hit a personal one. We're going to go to 2 topics from every region that has listened to us. And we'll pick one. I'll Google it. And when it comes up, we'll talk about it. And we won't do it culturally insensitive by like ripping on them and stuff like that.
Well,
we'll
they're
do
gonna
something
rip
where
on
it
us
is,
'cause
and we'll
we're
try
so
to relate
weird.
it to. We'll relate it to the United States.
Yeah.
And we need those iTunes reviews. Once
Need
again,
them.
the more reviews you get, the more resources we could put into this. We're not looking right now for you to put in Patreon money, send us money and stuff like that. All we need is a review.
Just a
Give us a review. We'll get exposed. Let us expose ourselves like Bezos. Like Bezos exposed Packer from the National Enquirer. Right?
Yes. We
The
will
Packer
expose
is
ourselves
Packer is the
if you leave us iTunes
publisher
reviews.
of the National Enquirer, and he blackmailed Bezos to show Bezos' dick pics.
Oh,
that he
yes.
sent.
And he said, go
And
ahead
he'd
and
go
post
like
it.
this, and he slammed Packer down.
Yeah. He was like,
Boom.
post it.
You post it, motherfucker. Okay.
Post
Well,
it.
listen.
Post those reviews.
Yes, we're gonna hit the music here. Let's see how it works out. Okay. Goodbye, and join us again. Next week, we'll be doing episodes 149 and
150. Good night.
At Domino's, we're more than pizza, so mix it up with our specialty chicken, stuffed cheesy bread, sandwiches, pastas, medium 2-topping pizzas, and more for just $5.99 each, and we'll mix stand-up comedy with a robot.
Stuffed cheesy bread and my act have a lot in common. They're both super cheesy. Tough crowd.
You can also mix it up with Domino's salads, marbled cookie brownie, bread twist, and medium 2-topping pizzas. Order any 2 or more for just $5.99 each. 2-item minimum. Bone-in wings, handmade pan pizza, and bread bowl pasta will be extra. You must ask for this limited time offer. Prices, participation, delivery area, and charges may vary.
Right now, you can get both Sprint's unlimited plan and the all-new Samsung Galaxy S10 included for just $35 per month per line for 5 lines. All you need is approved credit and an 18-month lease. No trade-in required. Visit a Sprint store, sprint.com, or call 800-SPRINT-1.
Phone $15 a month after $22.50 a month. Credit apply within 2 bills. If canceled earlier, remain a balance due. Unlimited basic after $630.20. Pay $32 per month per line for 5 lines with auto pay. Data deprioritization during congestion. Speed maximums. Use rules and restrictions apply.